My name is Elizabeth Shults. My passage comes from the Pickwick Papers, Chapter 9, in which Mr. Jingle and Miss Rachel run away together. The supper was ready late, and everything betokened the approach of the most convivial period in the whole 24 hours. "Where's Rachel?" said Mr. Wardle. "Aye, and Jingle," added Mr. Pickwick. "Dear me," said the host, "I wonder I haven't missed before. Why, I don't think I've heard his voice for 2 hours at least. Emily, my dear, ring the bell." The bell was rung, and the fat boy appeared. "Where's Miss Rachel?" He couldn't say. "Where's Miss Jingle, then?" He didn't know. Everybody looked surprised. It was late past 11 o'clock. "Never mind," said Mr. Wardle, after a short pause. "They'll turn up presently, I dare say. I never wait supper for anybody." "Excellent rule, that," said Mr. Pickwick. "Pray, sit down," said the host. "Certainly," said Mr. Pickwick, and down they sat. There was a giant round of cold beef on the table, and Mr. Pickwick was supplied with a plentiful portion of it. He had raised the fork to his lips when the hum of many voices suddenly arose in the kitchen. He paused and laid down his fork. Mr. Wardle paused too. He looked at Mr. Pickwick. Mr. Pickwick looked at him. Heavy footsteps were heard in the passage. The parlor door was suddenly burst open. "What the devil's the meaning of this?" exclaimed the host. "The kitchen chimney ain't afire, is it, Emma?" inquired the old lady. "Lord, Grandma knows," screamed both the young ladies. The man gasped for breath. "They has gone, mister. Right clean off, sir." "Who's gone?" said Mr. Wardle fiercely. "Mr. Jingle and Miss Rachel in a po'chay from Blue Lion Muggletown. I was there, but I couldn't stop 'em, so I run off to tell ye." "I paid his expenses," said Mr. Tupman, jumping up frantically. "He's got 10 pounds of mine. Stop him. He swindled me. I'll have justice, Pickwick." "Lord preserve us," ejaculated Mr. Pickwick. "He's gone mad. What shall we do?" "Do?" the host shouted, who regarded only the last word of the sentence. "Put the horse in the gig. I'll get a chase at the lion and follow him instantly. Where's that villain Joe?" "Here I am, but I ain't willin'," replied a voice. It was the fat boy's. "Let me get at him, Pickwick," cried Wardle, as he rushed at the ill-starred youth. "He was bribed by that scoundrel Jingle to put me on the wrong scent by telling a cock and bull story of my sister and your friend Mr. Tupman. Let me get at him." "Don't let him!" screamed all the women, whose exclamations the blubbering of the fat boy was distinctly audible. "I won't be held," cried the old man. "Mr. Winkle, take your hands off Mr. Pickwick. Let me go, sir." It was a beautiful sight, in that moment of turmoil and confusion, to behold the placid and physiological expression of Mr. Pickwick's face. He had no sooner released his hold than the man entered to announce that the gig was ready. "Don't let him go!" screamed the females. "He'll kill somebody." "I'll go with him," said Mr. Pickwick. "You're a good fellow, Pickwick," said the host. They jumped into the gig. "Give her head, Tom," cried the host, and away they went, down the narrow lanes, jolting in and out of the car roads, and bumping up against the hedges on either side, as if they would go to pieces at every moment. "How much are they ahead?" shouted Wardle, as they drove up to the door of the Blue Lion. "Not above 3/4 of an hour. Chase and ford directly. Out with 'em, put 'em the gig afterwards." "Now, boys," cried the landlord, "chase and 4 out. Make haste. Look alive there." Away ran the horseless and the boys. Lanterns glimmered, and men ran to and fro. The horse's hoof clattered on the uneven paving of the yard. The chaise rumbled as it was drawn out of the coach-house, and all was noise and bustle. Out came the chaise, in got the travellers. The boys applied whip and spurs. They went away, fast and furiously. Pretty situation, thought Mr. Pickwick, when he had a moment's time for reflection. Pretty situation for the general chairman of the Pickwick Club. Damp chaise, strange horses, 15 miles an hour, and at 12 o'clock at night. For the first 3 or 4 miles, not a word was spoken by either of the gentlemen, each being too much immersed in his own reflections to address any observations to his companion. When they had gone over that much ground, however, Mr. Pickwick became too much exhilarated with the rapidity of the motion to remain any longer perfectly mute. "We're sure to catch them, I think," he said. "Hope so," replied his companion.